Good morning, everyone. We will now begin the morning service of the Miroku Association headquarters, asking God and Meishu-sama to protect and bless us as we participate today in the construction of paradise on earth. Amatsu-Norito and Miroku Prayer, please stand. Baka amaharani kamusumarimasu kaburogi kamurogi no mikoto moshite sumemi oya kamuri sanagi no mikoto tsukushi no hibuka no tachi anano Odo no aragi harani isogi harai tamo toki ni narimaseru arai dono kami tachi moro moro no magagoto tsuri kegare o arai tamae Kiyome tamae komao sukoto no yoshi o amatsu kami kunitsu kami yao yorosu no kami kachi tomo ni ame no fuchi koma no mimi furi tatete kikoshi meseto kashikomi mo maosu Miroku o mikami mamori tamae saki hare tamae Miroku o mikami mamori tamae saki hare tamae Oshie miyoya nushi no kami mamori tamae saki hare tamae Oshie miyoya nushi no kami mamori tamae saki hae tamae. Kannagara tamachi haemase. Kannagara tamachi haemase. Great God of light, creator and giver of all life, in accordance with your divine will, the long age of night draws to an end. Your radiant divine light, shining ever more brilliantly, awakens the dawn of the glorious age of light, a time long awaited by all humanity. We thank you for guiding us your divine plan, and for the privilege of channeling and receiving Johrei. May our spirits and bodies be illuminated and purified, as we read your truth given to us by Meishu-sama. Make us pure and effective instruments of your divine light, so that we may serve you and all those with whom we come in contact. May paradise on earth be realized with health, peace, and prosperity, a reality in our lives. Great God of light, bless and protect us. Radiate our souls with your divine light, so that we may truly become instruments of your great plan. Please be seated. We will now receive group Johrei.
Obrigado, Meishu-sama.
Johrei is now concluded. We will now listen to a reading from Meishu-sama's teaching. I have been blessed. How happy I am to have been saved by God's healing light. When I was ill and in danger of losing my life, I now receive his abundant blessings. How grateful I am to be healed of the illness that clouded my mind and spirit. I cannot serve God enough to express my gratitude. Nothing is as precious as life itself. Now, in this lifetime, we can serve God in his divine plan for the world. Salvation on a spiritual level alone, without any regard for the material side, cannot be true salvation. We can have real peace of mind only when we believe solutions to physical problems are possible. Some fears, such as that of starvation, can be eased if we believe someone is going to bring us food. We can have peace of mind about other problems, such as disease or poverty, when we trust that they can be solved through faith in God. In this way, solutions on both the physical and spiritual levels can bring us to a state of true salvation. The most important goal of this dual approach should be to eliminate disease and make people healthy. Material blessings are meaningless if you are suffering from illness. Thus, the first condition for the salvation of humanity must be to help everyone achieve true health.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining this morning service of the Miroku Association headquarters. We including our prayers today, more than 50 victims of the Ida hurricane and tropical storm, depending on the area. So we will continue praying for these spirits of those who departed and those who remain, like their families and friends. I have a faith experience I'd like to share with you today. It's from Andrea Dacosta Martinez. She is from the Coimbra Johrei Center, Portugal. Andrea was introduced to our church in February of last year, having received the sacred focal point or Hikari at the beginning of the following month. She was born in a religious family. She's the fourth sister of 5 children. Has always found it difficult to adapt to her family, their way of life and traditions. And she has never been able to understand and accept the way they practice their faith. Namely, the fact that they think it is necessary to go through sacrifices in order to be graced by divine blessings. She still found the sadness and rigidity experienced during religious ceremonies very strange, feelings that extended to her home. Sometimes she felt like a stranger. Sometimes she thought they were all strangers, deprived of true affection and joy for life, living only for the physical world. She felt like a disconnected member of her family tree. This situation led her to emotional exhaustion until at the age of 17, she decided to no longer live with her parents. She left their church for good, and with that came the distance from her family. After many years away from religious life, at the end of last year, she felt the need to refeed her spiritual side and attend a church. In Portugal, until then, she only knew traditional religions and returned to participate in 3 or 4 religious ceremonies. She felt soothed and somehow at peace, However, the sadness and heaviness that plagued her as a young woman also returned. Thus, she understood that where she visited was not going to nourish her spiritually. She got to know our church through a friend who invited her to participate in a monthly appreciation service at the headquarters of Portugal. Since then, she has not been able to stop going to our church and participating in its activities. The joy of people at the service, their potluck luncheons, and their following activities surprised, inspired, and transported her back in time, making her relive happy times as a university student in which she lived with friends who practiced Hindu religions and who so much taught her. Her family has always been her biggest challenge, a challenge that she put into the hands of God and Meishu-sama. Understanding them, understanding herself, accepting them, accepting herself was and will be her great challenge. She always felt out of place, neither good nor bad, neither better nor worse, just different. From our practice of faith, she realized that her role is precisely to show a new vision, a new consciousness. Flowers of Light was the first sprout of faith that she shared with her family. Despite her uncertainty on how they would react, at a Sunday lunch at her parents' home with her siblings, she took a tray of flowers of light made the previous afternoon at the headquarters. It was as if those small flowers radiated beams of light towards all her family members, who quickly approached her, having chosen each one of them, which they admired and started to care for. To her surprise, they later asked her for more flowers of light. Only then she realized that she cannot force them to receive a message they are not yet ready to understand. But in that moment, she believed and did not underestimate the power of planting a small seed in the heart of each one of her family members. Her mother has always been a person with constant concerns. She has always felt very sad throughout her life, influenced by the religious life practiced with suffering. And moments full of joy that Andrea shared with her were rare. The first time she channeled Johrei to her mother, even though it was strange, she accepted and miraculously said, "Oh, this thing with the hands you done to me made me feel full of joy." Andrea felt an enormous joy to see another fight won, to give her mother the glow of life. Another aspect that brought her closer to her mother was her dedication to the garden at the headquarters, a practice that she replicated in her parents' garden, helping her mother to plant cabbage. It was a very well spent afternoon where she felt a great closeness with her mother again, and she remembered the times as a child when she played in that same piece of land and felt her mother as her great protector. Now the roles have been reversed. She feels that her mission is to share with her family the practices of our faith and the joys she is experiencing. The stories lived in her family bring real beliefs, values, and experiences that were told and passed down from generation to generation. She realized that her ancestors live inside her, waiting for someone to save them. She learned that when someone grows spiritually within a family, all ancestors equally grow. This has been her mission, to dedicate to the spiritual elevation of her family, always with more awareness, light, and love. Even not understanding her fully, her family has come to accept her. Their relationship has become closer because in a simple way, she finally managed to reach each of their hearts. Andrea is very thankful to God and Meishu-sama for these blessings that have manifested themselves so clearly in her life. She intends to continue dedicating, participating in the services, and materializing her gratitude for the construction of paradise on earth. And another experience I would like to share with you This one is from Beatriz Lucas from the Caciquel Johrei Center, Luanda, Angola. Beatriz Lucas is a Johrei member, and she gives service as a person in charge of a group of members. She suffered from tuberculosis that plagued her for 6 years, and because of that, she went to hospitals and healers' houses without any results. It was in this situation that she was guided to our church. At the church, she was received by a missionary who guided Beatriz to do the basic practices of our faith. In less than a month of Johrei and other practices, her health was totally restored. She became a member, and it has been 10 years since she had serious health issues. The experience of faith that she's sharing with us has to do with a change of her way of thinking. Even though she was a member, she did not channel Johrei to her family at home. She felt embarrassed of taking care of others. After a visit by the person responsible for her group, in which she channeled Johrei to Beatriz, who could open her heart about all the suffering she was going through. They prayed and went out together to knock on doors, looking for people who were suffering to offer them Johrei. Consequently, 5 homes accepted their visit. By permission of Meishu-sama, she now takes care of these 5 homes, where she channels Johrei, offers prayers, flowers of light, and reads Meishu-sama's teachings. As a result of this dedication, Beatriz received the following blessings. Her sister, who after graduating couldn't find work, finally found a job. She received a job offer that she is already doing an internship. She has been able to channel Johrei to her family members, and harmony reigns at home. She learned that following our basic practices of faith, everything that seems impossible becomes reality. Beatriz is very thankful to God, Messiah, Meishu-sama, and her ancestors for allowing her to know this path of salvation. That was from Beatriz of Luanda, Angola. I have some announcements to make. Tomorrow is our annual Ancestor Service, one of the most important services of the year, at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. If you live locally, please by any means come and join us in prayer. Or you can attend this service online through our Miroku TV channel on YouTube, on Facebook, and also through Zoom. On Monday, it is Labor Day, national holiday. This headquarters will be closed. And last but not least, the following Saturday, September 11th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time, we're going to have this very important event. It's called the Day in Paradise. This day will mark the 20th year since the collapse of the Twin Towers. And with the activity, we are going to have a Johrei exchange from people all over North America. So it will be a time for us to be praying together, to be unified by our major important practice, which is Johrei. So I'm looking forward to have your presence at that event as well. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful Saturday.
This brings to a conclusion of our morning service. Thank you everyone for joining us, and have a blessed day.